Hello everybody, welcome back to Back Out of the Case. This is Skyflight 44, aka Sect 44, and today I'm going to continue to play Donkey Kong Land 2. We're in the second world. Interesting fusion of the two world, second and third world from Donkey Kong Country 2. Now, I would have probably done something a little bit different. I'll explain that a little bit later. But one thing I did want to say before I continued is I am going to be using both Diddy and Dixie for this playthrough. It's very much like how I did Donkey Kong Land 1, in which, well, I used both Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, even though I never got hit, so there was no need for me to switch, other than for my own personal enjoyment. But I am going to be switching between the two, and even then, I still do kind of feel like I used Dixie a bit too much. Later on, I will eventually really start using Dixie less, and Diddy more. Diddy was used by. I used Diddy a lot more when it came to the harder platforming levels, to make sure I didn't use Dixie and Dixie's, you know, that little helicopter thing that allows her to glide. Absolutely amazing. It's a lot of fun to go and use. It's wonderful, and the entire reason why she actually got popular over Diddy. But I don't want to use it too much. It does feel dirty going and using it when you don't have to. When it takes out the challenge of the game itself. And very much like Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong Land 2 isn't exactly on the easy side. Granted, it isn't completely, hardest fucking game ever. It does have a lot of points where the platforming's solid, the game is solid, and you just have to be good at playing the game. You really have to learn how to play the game. My first time I ever played this game, it was a long time ago. It was the first Game Boy game I actually bought at that place over there, downtown. I actually went and bought it for about $5. It was a lot of fun. First time I ever brought out my actual Game Boy, and well over a decade. But I played it, and I enjoyed it. I heavily enjoyed it. But I was getting my ass kicked during this world. I didn't play a Donkey Kong Country game in a long ass time. And well, I had to stop at Slime Climb. I couldn't do Slime Climb. And it fucking sucked. It really did suck for me. I did eventually beat it, and of course I beat it in this actual playthrough as well. But it's just, this game really isn't as easy. One thing I've always liked about the Donkey Kong Country series is that it can be difficult while never really being bullshit. There are some levels in the Donkey Kong Country series that can be very much bullshit. I can think of a couple when it comes to Donkey Kong Country Returns. Never played, I really want to play it. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. But Returns can go fuck itself when some of those actual, K levels. I believe it's 5K that made me stop playing Donkey Kong Country Returns last time, trying to go for 100%. I was having fun. The world wasn't too bad. The game wasn't all that bad to, 100%. But fuck, did I hate that 5K. I believe it was 5K. The level basically entailed you to ride up it was one of those vertical auto-scrolling levels, in which it really was an auto-scrolling level. But it was very much like the Saw level from Donkey Kong Country 2, in which you actually had this saw following you and the entire time, and it was some crazy shit. Actually, with that music, it had some pretty nightmarish shit in that one too. Just your nerves, your fucking nerves, dude. But it was very much like that, in which you had to go and race the lava. The lava sucked, and I could not beat it because, you know, the lava's one hit kill. The Saw in Donkey Kong Country 3 wasn't a one hit kill. It would just, you know, hurt you. You would lose a Kong, and life goes on. But that one sucked. You even had, you know, health. If you actually had Diddy, I think you actually had 4 health points. That fucking sucked because it was one hit kill, and you were on this, at least at one point, this small little platform, and there was these fucking insect bugs like fireflies. I think they were like fireflies that were trying to get you, and eventually it was 2 of them. You had to jump around them, and that sucked. Not to mention trying to get the puzzle pieces and shit. No. I hate that level. I played it so much, and I couldn't get everything in I couldn't beat the level. I couldn't get to the very end of the level. I'm ashamed. I could probably do it now if I put my mind to it. But that, I don't think I'm ever going to be playing the Golden Temple level just yet. Anytime soon anyway. Oh well. One thing that this actual world does is, like I brought earlier, it's a interesting fusion between the second and third worlds of Donkey Kong Country 2. These were Crocodile Cauldron and Creme Quay, becoming what this is, Creme Cauldron. Now, there's actually a reason for this. Like Donkey Kong Land 1 is technically a, it's another storyline. Well, it's not necessarily a story, but it's another plot by, you know, Cranky and K. Rool after Donkey Kong Country, in which I believe Cranky said something along the lines of, "Can you do it again without, you know, with less bits," basically. But this one's very similar, in which Crocodile Isle comes up from the depths of the sea, and when that happened, Creme Quay and Crocodile Cauldron fuse together, and we get the world we have in this game. But while I don't want to bring in cartoon logic, video game logic into this, I really don't want to have to, you know, argue against that, but this is stupid. This is stupid. If a lava world and the swamp world are not necessarily opposites, but at the same time they kinda are. Or I shouldn't say they're opposites, but they're incompatible. It's not anything like a, what was it, Hellfire Peaks or whatever it was in Banjo-Tooie. But it's completely incompatible. And I think, and this is just me, I know why they did it. I have this feeling it's very much either a memory constraint thing or a time thing. Considering the fact that they brought in so many level themes to get as many levels into this game, in which the levels in this game are great, and I love them, and there's a shitload of them too, which is great. But the cart may not have been able to go and hold it all. That's one of the, if you remember correctly, Pokemon Silver and Gold had the very same problem, in which at first they were having trouble putting everything onto a regular Game Boy cartridge, and it's a miracle they actually got to have Kanto in the state it was actually in. Even with some of the stuff taken out, it was a miracle it was actually put down there, and I believe Iwata was the one that did that. You know, rest, please, just, I will forever always remember that man for making one of my favorite games better. But, memory constraints probably had a huge deal when it came to making, fusing these two worlds. Why would they have to? In the end, even though they took out some of the music, they got all the levels, but they could not put in all of the actual bosses. Though the boss that they took out, I'm thinking it's more of the boss itself that couldn't be put in, and not necessarily the level graphics that were needed, considering the fact that the swamp graphics would have worked fine. But they took out the actual, Kudzo's no, it was, I think it was Kudzo's Conquest or Contest level. That's the one that they took out. Clubber was the the friendlier one that you didn't actually have to fight. But taking out that, they had one last boss. Therefore, they had to pretty much smush two worlds together, and they brought in Crocodile Cauldron for that. However, I think they could have went and used the fourth world of Donkey Kong Country 2, the amusement park one, for the same exact reasons. It fits logically. Something like, an amusement park next to a swamp is utterly ridiculous. However, when you remember that these are the Kremlings we're talking about, and the fact that, alligators, crocodiles, though I more think alligators with the swamp motif, because, well, when I think of crocodiles, granted, I don't know much. When I think of crocodiles, I, think of something like a river, or, freshwater crocodiles in rivers, or like brackish water. Which, if I remember correctly, again, I haven't. This is a lot of stuff I learned when it came to fishing. Before that, I just don't really remember too much anymore. Brackish water being, something like between fresh and salt water, but not necessarily one or the other. And that's when I think of actual crocodiles. And it fits. Having an amusement park next to an actual swamp would fit a lot more than a swamp world with a lava world. So, how it would work out was, the big problem would be the swamp level, the swamp world, starts at the bottom of Crocodile Isle, and then it goes up to the next level for the next world. But what you could have done, because of the levels that were in Creme Quay, is make it a vertical actual world, in which the farther you actually go on, the higher you go up, in which you would have the Sunken Galleon and the swamp levels, and you would have the swamp levels, Sunken Galleon one, you would have the Slime Climb level, and then you would have the Bramble level at the very top of it. The Bramble levels would bring you in to the next actual world. It would bring you into the next half of the world, the amusement park one, because, well, there was a Bramble level in the amusement park one as well. And even then, you could have had the Hive. Some part of it kind of off the cliff. Part of it going down onto below, well, where the cliff ends. Well, the cliff begins. You get what I mean. And you would, from that point on, get into the next area. And it would fit more. And then you would still have the fourth world's boss from Donkey Kong Country 2 to put into this new world. And instead of having, you know, this one, which would have helped. This would also have made the ship hole theme less used in the second actual world, and it would have made a lot better so that when it returns in the third world, it would have been a bit easier to stomach, because you hear it far too much. Actually, I think... See you, everybody.